Hello, we're going to take another look at the Caro-Kann, the Bronstein Larsen variation. And this time we're going to look at a game in which both opponents will castle queenside. Our themes will be the controlling of the diagonals. Themes will be removal of the defender and creating a passed pawn. And the ECO code is B16, and this will be a Bronstein Larsen variation of the Caro-Kann. So let's get started. White starts with the normal moves of E4, C6, D4, D5, knight to C3, D takes E4, knight takes E4, and knight to F6, inviting white to recapture or to capture the knight. White obliges, knight takes, and black plays G takes F6, which is the starting point of the Bronstein Larsen variation. To kind of have an idea of how black would normally develop in this position, I would suggest you look at my Caro-Kann number 7 and Caro-Kann number 8, and that'll kind of give you an idea of where black normally will develop his pieces. I'll kind of go over a little bit in this game also, but just to kind of save a little time, I'll refer you to the other videos. White continues with C3, and black plays his bishop to F5, which is the normal square for the bishop. Knight to F3, queen to C7, which is also the normal square for the knight. Doesn't mean that's the only, the queen. That does not mean that's the only square the queen can play to, but that is what you would normally see in play. White plays knight to H4, attacking the bishop. The bishop retreats to G6, and now white plays bishop to C4, and black plays E6, queen to F3, attacking the pawn at F6, and black defends it with knight to D7. White plays bishop to E3, continuing his development. Black castles queenside, and white castles queenside. So now we're going to see a game in which black had hoped that white would castle queenside and he'd be able to use his open G file to attack, and also pushing his H pawn to crack open the white king side. But in this case, white has castled queenside, so we're going to have an entirely different type of game. So let's continue. Black continues with bishop to D6, developing his last piece. White plays knight takes G6, and black plays H takes G6, keeping the H file open for his rook. White plays H3, black plays C5, bishop to B5, and now C4, and black plays bishop takes D7, which removes the defender of the pawn at F6. Black plays rook takes D7, and white plays queen takes F6, winning a pawn, and the queen attacks the rook at H8. The rook advances to H5. White plays his king to B1. Black continues to gain space on the queen side by advancing his pawn to B5 and hopefully starting a queen side attack there. White plays rook to C1, lining up the rook against the black king and queen in case the file should ever open. And that's a good idea to do sometimes if you can line up that rook against an opposing queen, opposing king. You never know when those lines will open up and that rook will be able to spring to life. So it's just a little something to keep in the back of your mind. White plays next rook to F5, and black plays queen to G7, and now king to B7. Now white begins his process of creating a passed pawn. If you take a look at this king side, you'll see that white has pawns at G and H, and black only has his pawn at the G6. So as white advances this pawn, he should be able to, after making exchanges, push the h pawn forward and actually get a passed pawn and queen it. So let's see how white is able to accomplish this, or at least how he attempts to accomplish this. After king to b7, white plays g4. Black plays rook to d5, h4, continuing with his idea of getting that passed pawn. Black plays bishop to f4, and now white plays h5. The bishop's not important in a sense. The passed pawn is more important than the bishop. Of course, he can always recapture, which what white does. He captures the bishop, takes e3, and now black plays f takes e3. And now g takes h5, and white recaptures g takes h5. And he has accomplished what he wanted to do. He now has a passed h pawn with a rook behind it and a queen in front of it. And there should be a pawn that he should be able to push forward and queen. Excuse me. Black plays e5. White plays h6, pushing that pawn. Now black plays f5 and queen to g8. Of course, the queen was under attack by the rook at d7. Black plays e takes d4. h7, going for that queen. White plays, Black plays d takes c3, and now white queens that pawn, and black plays c takes b2. White responds now with queen to a8 check. He's now going to start a king hunt. White plays king to a6, rook to h6 check, king to a5, queen takes b2. White removes the threat against his king. He now has a queen for 2 pawns, which is a pretty good trade in anybody's book. Black now plays queen to c5. White plays queen to c3 check, b4, queen takes c4, queen takes c4, rook takes c4, rook to d1 check. White drops the rook back to protect, rook to c1, and now rook at 7 to d2, and white finishes the game with queen to a7 and a mate in 2, and it would go as king to b5, queen to b6. The response is king to a4, and now queen to a6 is checkmate. So that's how that game went. I wanted to show how white can counter black's attack, his theme, by castling queenside. Just one way of doing it. I just wanted, and hope you enjoyed the game. White deserved to win one, so I brought it to you. So anyway, you have a good day. I hope you